Hi, this is Algebra 1, Module 7, Lesson 3, Practice Problems. We're going to practice finding those x-intercepts and y-intercepts and then graphing with those. So to start with, we're going to pretend like we don't have a y. 3 times what equals 12? 4. And then we're going to pretend like we don't have an x. 2 times what equals 12? That's 6. So when I go to draw this, I want to go to 4 on my x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I want to go up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And have them cross there. I'm just going to go from intercept to intercept with mine. Okay, so y is 0. Then 8 times negative 3 gives me negative 24. X is 0. Negative 12 times 2 is negative 24. So now I'm going to go from negative 3 on the y to a positive 2, or x, positive 2 on the y. There we go. Next one, we have y is 0, so 3 times 7 equals 21. If x is 0, negative 7 times negative 3 is 21. So that means I'm going to go to 7 on the x. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And up to down to 1, 2, 3, negative 3 on the y. Okay, next ones. Okay, y is 0. So 5 times 4 is 20. X is 0. Negative 10 times negative 2 is 20. So then I'm going to go from 4 on the x to negative 2 on the y. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. All right, here. Oh, we've got to rearrange this one a little bit. Well, because I want to have everything as close to positive as possible here, I'm going to put my 18 first. Put that on. I'm just going to switch these guys around. So plus 18 on this side, 6x minus 2y on this side. So that means if my y is a 0, 6 times 3 is 18. My x is a 0. Negative 2 times negative 9. So then I'm going to go to my shapes, 1, 2, 3, down to, I believe negative 9 is the bottom one here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, that's right. All right, and the last one, we're going to rearrange again. I'm going to put the 6x over here to make that positive. So it'd be plus 6x plus y equals 6. Everything's positive there. So if I don't have my y, 6 times 1 is 6. If I don't have my x, 1 times 6 is 6. So let's go 1 on the x, enter the x-axis, and up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the y. There we go. That should have been review. Okay, so here we're going to practice filling out these working out these problems. So we're going to multiply, show the steps, circle our like terms before we simplify. So I'm going to start with blue on this one. And I like to do that smiley face piece on here. So we have x times x is x squared. X times 5 is 5. Oh, did I lose it? I bumped something. So we'll go down here to a pen and pick blue. So plus 5x. Here we have to plus 5x again, and then plus 25. So to be able to circle the like terms, I'm going to add these 5x's together, which for number 7, I'm just going to write it up above. I have x squared plus 10x's, since I added them, plus 25. All right, so for 8, same thing. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times 7 is 21x. 7 times 3 is 21x. 7 times 7 is 49. My like terms this time are the 21x's. So for 8, we're going to have 9x squared plus 21 plus 21 is 42x's plus 49. Okay, so for 9, we'll go to green. So I'm actually going to go ahead and write this next to it so I can see them multiplied. So 9 times 9 is 81x squared. I don't know why it's not working the whole time. 9x times 1 is plus 9x. 1 times 9x is plus 9x. 1 times 1 is 1. And so I'm going to circle my 9x's. And for number 9, when I simplify, I end up with 81x squared. 9 plus 9 is 18x's plus 1. All right, and for number 10, again, I'm going to write this off to the side, plus 11, so we can see it a little bit easier. Okay, so 4 times 4 is 16x squared. 4 times 11 is 44x's. 4 times 11 is 44x's. 11 times 11 is 121. So combining my like terms are my two 44x's, which means for number 10 here, I'm going to have 16x squared plus 88x's plus 121. All right. Now we are going to, it's not scrolling here. It's not letting me do anything. Okay, here we go. Oh, write a rule for finding the coefficient b of the x term and the middle term when multiplying and simplifying this little piece over here. So finding that rule to find b. So how did I get this number? Well, we know it's 2 of this, so that's 7, but we also had to multiply it times this 3. So 14 times 3 is 42. If we do 5 times 2 is 10. There was no in front. Okay. Here was 1. So 1 times 9 was 8. Oh, 1 times 2 times 9 is 18. And here was 11 times 2 times 4. Yeah, works every time. So in this case, we're taking we know B is 2 times, in this case, Q, because that's what they're using. But we also have to times it by A to be able to get that B term, right? Because we have another number in front. Okay, so for 12 through 17, we're going to fill in the number that completes the squares, is like we did in our notes today. Then write the trinomial as a product of two factors. So that's going to be our x plus something squared. So we know how to find c was b over 2 squared gets us c. And we know that h equals 2, no, b equals 2h, right? So whatever b is, h is going to be half that. So let's go ahead and look at this. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 squared is 16. So that means x plus h, 4 is our h. Okay, so for this one, half of 10 is 5. 5 squared is 25. So our equation is x plus 5, because that's our h. Okay, half of 16 is 8. 8 squared is 64. And that means our equation was using the 8 for that. Okay, next one's half of 6 is 3. So 3 squared is 9. So that means x plus 3 squared, which we've done that one in our notes. We can check that. Here we have 22. Half of 22 is 11. 11 squared is 121. We use the 11 down here in our equation. And um, this last one, 18, half of that is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. So x plus 9 squared on there. All right, so now this time they're going to give us C, and we need to find B. So we need to undo what we just had on there, and then we have to make our the product of two factors. So if I were going to undo this equation right here, first I'd have to take the square root of C, right, to get rid of this, and then I'd have to times 2 to get B, right? Divide by 2 and squared to undo this. Keep in mind, C equals H squared. So to find my H for letter B, I need to take the square root of this number. But to find my B, I need to take the square root and then times by 2. So first, square root 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So my B equals 8. But then my equation is using that 4 because 4 squared is 16. All right, 121 square root is 11. 11 times 2 is 22. But my equation uses the 11. All right, 625 square root is 25. So 25 times 2 is 50 to get my B. But my equation uses the 25 in there. Okay, next row, 225. That square root is 15. 15 times 2 is 30. Nope, out of the way. Okay, it's 30. And then x plus 15 squared. All right, 49. Square root of 49 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. To come up with my equation, I need to use the 7. Okay, 169. Square root is 13. 13 times 2 is 26. So my equation is using that original 13 there. All right, next row. Here we have a fraction. So 25 fourths, the square root of that would be 5 fourths. So 5 fourths times 2, 2 over 1, is 10. Oh, not 5 fourths, 5 halves. Actually, those two cancel, leaving me a 5, right? Let me clean that up a little bit. All right, so 5 halves. That's the square root of 25, square root of 4. We times it by 2 to get our B, right? Well, these two cancel, leaving me just 5. So my B is 5, but I'm going to go back to that original x plus 5 halves squared. Leave it as a fraction. Do not put 2.5. They put it as a fraction. You need to leave it as a fraction. I'm just going to circle this. You can see that a little bit easier. Okay. So here, 9 fourths. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 4 is 2. If I times that by 2, those 2's cancel, leaving a 3. So 3 is what it is. Down here, it's an x plus 3 halves squared. Again, I'm going to circle that so you can see what we're doing here. Here, 49 fourths equals 7 halves. Times that by 2, those cancel, leaving us 7. But I go back to that fraction, 7 halves squared as my equation. All right, I'll go ahead and circle that since I did the other two. Okay, so now when we scroll down here, find the intercepts of the graph of each equation. State whether it's an x or y. Well, this one is pretty straightforward in the fact that y equals, that's a straight line that crosses, just show you here. We have our coordinates here. This is a line that just crosses here. So if it hits at y, then it's going to be a y-intercept. So y-intercept, and that equals negative 4.5 because that's where it's hitting. Okay, here. It's an x equals x-intercept equals, and it's crossing at 9.5. Here we have an x-intercept again, and so it's an x-intercept, and it's crossing at negative 8.2, I believe. I kind of covered that up with my box. Yep, it's a negative. Okay, and here we have a y, so it's a y-intercept, and that is at 112. And that's it. So that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.